Looks like they're being called into line. Lining up. That's it. Often racing for Division 1 of the 5 and upwards. Mayor's Maiden kind of sponsored by Hotel Minella and Skehanagh Stables. And 14 mares make their way on towards the first of 15 fences and first to show. It is Windsor Dawn from Set in the West, and they're followed next in the field by Country Kitten, and they're followed next as they come to this one by Good Jump by Clearly Crazy. So they swing the bend into the back straight for the first time, continue to run on by the roadside towards fences 2 and 3, and it is Windsor Dawn from Clearly Crazy, followed by Set in the West and Arctic Oscar. Country Kittens next, and they're followed by Dewey York, with also there between horses Maybe It's Time. Wider still is Dun and Mangan, and they're followed by, and behind these it is Knockanora Lady, and they're followed next in the field by 10 Town Rose as they continue their way on towards the next fence, which will be fence number 3, and they're followed by Godriol. So they make their way on towards this next fence, fence number 3, and it is Windsor Dawn over safely in front, and already has this field well stretched out now as they head towards the bend to bring him back into the home straight. It's Windsor Dawn by a couple of lengths from Set in the West, and they're followed next in the field by Maybe It's Time in third. Country Kitten on the inside 4, and they're followed by Clearly Crazy, 10 Town Rose. Arctic Oscars next with Dewey York, and they're followed next by Knock and Nora Lady, and they're in turn are followed by Godry Old, Dun and Mangan as they continue to run on towards this next fence and over fence number 4, and they're followed by the 2 towards rear, which is Light Heidi, and also completing the field at the rear of the field it is Chit Chat Sally. So they continue their way on towards this next fence through the trees and race on towards this fence, which will be fence number 5, and as they do so it is in front Windsor Dawn from in second. Up on the outside now, Maybe It's Time. They're followed by 10 Town Rose on the inside in third, with 4 to behind these Set in the West, and they're followed by Country Kitten, Clearly Crazy and Dewey York, and they're followed next in the field by Arctic Oscar, with Knockanora Lady and Godry Old, Dun and Mangan, 1916 Light Heidi, and completing the field. On the outside it is Chit Chat Sally. They run across the side of the track and continue to run on towards the next fence. It'll be fence number 6, and it is Windsor Dawn who leads the way from in second. Maybe It's Time, followed by 10 Town Rose in third. Country Kitten is in 4, and they're followed next in the field by Set in the West, Dewey York, Clearly Crazy. They're followed next in the field now. On the inside with the green silks is Knockanora Lady, who in turn is followed next by Godry Old. Wider still, it is Arctic Oscar, Dun and Mangan, 1916, Light Heidi, and Chit Chat Sally. Racing along by the roadside and on towards these next fence coming up, 7 and 8. Windsor Dawn with a 10-12 length advantage over safely. From in second, Maybe It's Time and 10 Town Rose. Mistake there in fourth by Country Kitten. Mikey O'Connor did well to keep the partnership intact. They're followed by Clearly Crazy, with on the inside of these Set in the West, as Windsor Dawn is already over this next one. And fence number 8, and followed back in second now, 15 lengths adrift it is Maybe It's Time. 10 Town Rose is on the outside in third, and they're followed next in the field in fourth by Set in the West, Country Kitten, Clearly Crazy, Godry Old, Arctic Oscar, Dewey York, and they're followed by Knock and Nora Lady. Wider still, 1916 as they come to this fence number 9, and Windsor Dawn is, if anything gone further clear, leads by the best part of 25 lengths now from back in second. It Maybe It's Time. 10 Town Rose is 4 lengths further back in third, with 3 lengths back to Set in the West. They're followed by Godry Old, Country Kitten, Clearly Crazy, and they're followed by Arctic Oscar and Knock and Nora Lady, and Dewey York break a couple of lengths in 1916, but they jumped that fence number 10, and the leader is still about 20 lengths clear now, Windsor Dawn, from just touching down in second now, and a slow jump there by Maybe It's Time. So they pass the judges' trailer out in their final circuit. Windsor Dawn still leads by the best part of 15 to 20 lengths now from in second. Maybe It's Time. They're followed by Set in the West in third, and a faller there on the bend out of the contest is Dewey York. slipped up to just clipped heels on the bend. So one of the contests now as they continue to run. Glad to report Conor Blake up on his feet. So racing on towards this next fence. The fence it'll be the fence 5 from the finish now. Windsor Dawn with a reduced advantage now, but still the best part of 15 lengths clear from maybe his time in second. Windsor Dawn comes to it. Mistake by our leader, but didn't lose too much ground from maybe his time in second. Clearly Crazy moves into third, followed by Godry Ole. They're followed by Set in the West, and on the outside Arctic Oscar. Knocking over Ladies next with 1916. Break a couple into Chit Chat Sally, Light Heidi. Dunmangan and 10 Town Rose are going to be pulled up. Also going to be pulled up is Dunmangan. Racing on towards the fence before the finish. Windsor Dawn is reduced to 8 lengths now from maybe his time in second. Windsor Dawn is over, maybe his time in second. Clearly Crazy's next. On the inside, Set in the West, and they're followed by on the outside Arctic Oscar 1916, and ridden along is Godriol as the racehorse three out now. Windsor Dawn has got challengers all over now and is headed for the first time. Clearly Crazy lands in front from Set in the West. On the outside Arctic Oscar. They're followed next to the field now by maybe his time 1916 as they swing the bend and race on into the home straight. Good run towards the second last, and as they do so, it is on the inside Set in the West, who leads the way from Clearly Crazy, followed by Arctic Oscar in third. They're followed back by 1916 in fourth. Knocking over Ladies next with maybe his time 2 out now. Clearly Crazy. And on the inside of these, Set in the West. Set in the West gets a quicker jump and begins to open up now. A length and a half of advantage from Clearly Crazy back in second. 1916 is staying on. Back in third, run through the trees and race on towards the final fence. Set in the West from 1916, who's closing. And on the run towards the final fence is Set in the West from 1916. Very little between these pairs. Clearly Crazy back in third. Final fence jumping important. Set in the West from 1916. And the outside, who's thrown down a challenge. Set in the West on the inside with a narrow lead from 1916, who's closing. But up towards the line, and a Set in the West pushed out, finds more and scores for Tiernan Power Roach and Sean Thomas Dial. Double on the day for Sean Thomas Dial. 1916 is in second, and they're followed in third by Clearly Crazy, and fourth it is Knock Anora Lady, and fifth Battle on Chit Chat Sally, and maybe his time, followed by Light Heidi, who's your final finisher.